Hey everybody, Nathan Peterson here, OCD and anxiety specialist. Did you know that majority of the world gets OCD wrong? We see it in media, we see it on the internet, everywhere. But do they get it correct? Today, I'm gonna be reacting to the TV show Monk. I'm gonna go through some of his obsessions, compulsions, and tell you what I would do if he were my patient. My opinions are based off of the first episode only, so let's get to it.
The stove.
Over here. It's in the kitchen.
No, I mean my stove. I think I left it on.
It's okay.
Super common, first, right off the bat. That is a very common obsession that many people have. Did I leave the stove on? And actually, everybody probably has that thought at some point or another. But it's kind of like, I sure hope that I didn't, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep moving on with my day. For some people, they have a certain routine that they do every time they leave the house, whether it's I gotta hear a certain amount of clicks, or I've gotta watch the flame die out, or whatever it could be, or until it just feels right. I know the stove is off.
I checked it as we were leaving.
Are you sure? Did you turn the knob?
Yeah.
The little knob, though.
I turned all the knobs. The stove is off, Adrian.
Okay, so there you go, perfect example right there. Although, the person that is giving them that information is reassurance. They probably don't know any better, but when they ask other people, hey, is this okay? Did I leave it on? Whatever the compulsion is, the answer that they're gonna get is gonna be exactly what they wanna hear most of the time, but their brain's not going to accept that answer. Like, I did it. I did exactly what you wanted me to do. But it's like, but are you sure? But are you sure? But are you sure? Like, that is the trap of OCD.
This guy was cold as ice.
Adrian.
I can tell pretty quick right there what I would identify, even just the 2-3 seconds of this, maybe some just right OCD, which means I'm going to do something until it feels right, whether it's tapping or I'm gonna have a certain thought in my head, or it could be some magical thinking. If I don't tap this in a certain way or until it feels right, something bad's gonna happen, or maybe I won't solve the case, or whatever it could be. And the brain just randomly comes up with these ideas. He had no idea he was gonna walk in and start touching that lamp, but the brain's like, that's it. That's the thing you gotta go touch. Go do it.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble concentrating because I think I smell gas. Did you hear the click? Because you gotta hear the click, not just feel the click. Hear it. Because,
Pilot light is
sometimes
fine.
it goes out. Do you
It's
remember the
fine.
last time it almost went out?
Do you want me to drive all the way back to the city and check the stove?
No.
I mean, is that what you're telling me to do?
No. Would you? Could you? That would be great.
Yeah, so we're already back to the stove. Like, that is the trap. She already gave him a really great answer. It's done, it's good. All OCD wants is for people to gain certainty, to know for sure that you are safe, that you are good, the house isn't gonna blow up, whatever the actual fear or thought is. And that's why we don't ask for reassurance, because he didn't get it. I don't know how much further in the episode this is, but he didn't get it. The brain is still questioning and doubting. The only way he's gonna know for absolute sure is if he goes back and checks it the way that his compulsions told him he needs to do it. Even if she went back right now, it wouldn't matter, because he's not the one that's gaining that certainty in that specific moment.
Do you think I'm ready? That's the question.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. You're testing me, aren't you? You left it like that on purpose. I've been feeling. Excuse me.
So this is the typical OCD right here that most of media shows is something's out of order or it doesn't look right, and so I'm gonna go fix it. Honestly, from any client that I've ever seen, like, this is actually more rare than all the other themes of OCD from what I have specifically seen. I don't have people straightening things or fixing things. What it ends up being for majority of the world is like, I'd prefer the pillow to be a certain way, but it's not like I can't move on with my life. Like, I can move on, it just is like not my preference. It doesn't feel right to have it be a certain way, but that's okay. And I think this is why we see majority of OCD in the media is just like, well, I don't straighten things, I don't clean things, so I must not have OCD. Maybe this happens to be his thing. It could be one of those just right moments. Doesn't feel right, I can't concentrate until it's right.
It's just. There, it's on. Okay. No big deal.
Hello, Monk.
Captain.
Sharona?
Lieutenant.
Nah, do you see that right there? I don't know exactly who this lady is because I've just seen this first episode, but man, I don't know if he hired her to be to do all the compulsions for him, but that's kind of what it looks like. Second he shakes someone's hand, she is ready. She knows that he's going to be triggered by it. She's got that wipe ready to go. No, that's not what we want to do, because if we do that, it's just teaching the brain that this had power. So if I were treating him, I'd say, you're gonna go into this meeting, you're probably gonna shake someone's hand. It's gonna feel really uncomfortable. We're gonna take whatever threat that comes your way, whether I'm gonna get sick, it's germy, I just feel disgust, whatever it is. And we're gonna say, man, you love it. I love that feeling. I'm so glad that it's there. And maybe I'm gonna wipe it on my shirt, even though I don't have to. I'm gonna wipe it on my hands, maybe on my face. Each person's gonna be different with their exposure, but they're gonna say, I love this feeling. This is so great. I hope it stays all day long. Love it, love it, love it. And they're gonna do that until that anxiety, distress, disgust feeling starts kind of just reducing on its own. But guess what? If it doesn't reduce, that's actually okay too. We're ultimately teaching the brain, I no longer care about this, so stop it.
Somebody tried to kill my husband yesterday, right in front of me. Excuse me.
Another one of those ordering things that, you know, it's just kind of typical, like, oh, the colors are not in the right order, so I've got to do it. That's not a typical thing for most people with OCD.
What are you doing?
Just straightening up.
Everyone knew was the silliest and funniest court gesture that ever there was. With a jingle and a jangle, he rolled into the court. My queen calls, he sang out as he bowed. Gesture, said the queen.
Oh, man.
The princess
I would
has
not
forgotten how
like
to
this
laugh,
myself.
and I am giving you the job of bringing back her
Ooh,
smile
fingers
to
in the
this
mouth.
court. When shall I start? He asked.
Okay, like, we gotta be real though. Who is gonna sit there and be like, oh, those kids are so cute for coughing and putting their fingers in their mouth and touching everything? I don't know many people who are going to love that. Really, I think most people are gonna kind of have that reaction, whether you have OCD or not. Like, ugh, why did they bring their kids to school? Why, you know, whatever it is. Obviously with OCD, it can make it a bigger deal, explode it. And when that happens, we actually just kind of do what everyone else is doing. Follow the crowd. No one else is putting their thing above their face. I guess I'm not gonna do it either. We risk those type of moments unless we know something absolutely for sure. That someone said, this kid is sick and they're gonna get you sick. Like, you know what, I'm probably not gonna be around that person right now. But we might enjoy it, hear the coughs, hear it all, and be like, oh, I love that sound. This is amazing. Hope I get sick. That'd be so great if I did. Seems risky, but we kind of enjoy those moments to teach the brain, I don't care.
Adrian, what are you doing?
This is dented.
Where? You can't even see it.
I am what I am. Look, do you want it?
Of course I want it.
I almost wonder, like, does he have OCPD in some aspects? Because things have to, like, it's just how it is. Things have to be a certain way. That's just how it is. Does it cause some anxiety if it's not? Maybe some distress? It's hard to know. I've only watched the first episode. But that's something that I look for as well. Like, is this just you? Like, that's okay. That's just how it is. Doesn't really cause you distress. Like, that's just your rule for yourself. That's how life goes. It needs to be this way. It's very interesting.
106. 107, 108.
There's possibly some of that just right
109.
or magical thinking. My brain says you gotta count as you're walking, and as you do,
10.
or if you don't do it right, something bad's gonna happen. Or I'm not gonna feel comfortable, I'm not gonna be able to think the way I need to think until this is fixed. My brain says count to this many numbers, I'm gonna do it. So what I would have somebody do is mess it up. If their brain says you gotta touch here, I'm either not gonna touch it or I'm gonna touch it wrong. Maybe I touch it with my elbow and I'm gonna say, hey, you know what? I hope something bad happens. That'd be so great. Hope that I think about this all day long and I'm not able to pay attention at work. Awesome, amazing, I love it. Break the compulsions by messing them up. There's the cough again. Oh,
Calm
someone
down.
else. Who wants to get in an elevator with someone
See
who's
you next
coughing? That's not an abnormal thing. Maybe with somebody with OCD, that's gonna be like, the day's ruined. You kind of, I wouldn't blame him for not taking that elevator, but I also would want it to be a preference. I'm choosing to not get in this thing just because that's not my preference. If I got in it, cool, that'd be okay too. But what's interesting is like, if he got to that elevator 30 seconds later, he never saw that person in there, it would not matter whatsoever. We put so much value on the things that we see and that we know, and the uncertainty is that's the hardest part about OCD. Be uncertain on purpose. We face fears, we live in the uncertainty, we don't know what's gonna happen. That is okay. That is how people get better. Face the fear, break the compulsion. So far, this isn't so out of the world of like, oh, he washes his hands all the time, he straightens things. Like, I did see that in there. But there are some legitimate OCD traits that I typically see for people that come through my office. I'm curious for you, what other TV shows have you seen where they portray OCD, and do they get it right? If you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.